Hello, grade 4. Today is Tuesday, March 24, 2020. Our topic for today is muscular system. Another day, girls, another topic. So let's proceed. What muscles are in your body? Okay. We have involuntary and voluntary muscles. So before we proceed, what is involuntary muscles? We need to define what is the meaning of involuntary and voluntary. The word in means not, and voluntary meaning in your control. Okay? So when we combine the word involuntary, meaning this is not under your control, while voluntary, you could control it. So meaning, involuntary muscle, this is not under your conscious control. While voluntary muscle, meaning you could control it. You could decide to work on it. Okay? Example of involuntary muscles are the muscles in your heart. It works every second, minute, and hour of our life. It works 24/7, 24 hours in 24 hours in 7 days, 365 days in a year, never stop. Okay? Unstoppable. Because if our heart stops to pump blood, okay, we will die. Same also with our lungs, okay, with our stomach. So that is an example of involuntary muscles. The example of voluntary muscles are the muscles in your face. When you're smiling, the muscles in your face is working. So smiling, you could control it. The muscle in your hand, you could control it. You could decide if you want to write or no. The muscle in your thigh, in your legs, you could control it. You could decide if you want to stop walking or continue running or what. Okay, so let's do figure number 1. Muscle use. Some muscles are voluntary and the others are involuntary. Relate the text and visual. Write how the person in each frame is using involuntary and voluntary muscles. So this is frame 1, frame number 2, frame number 3. Let's find out the involuntary muscles in those pictures. Okay? In frame number 1, the example of involuntary muscle here is the digesting of food. The example of the activity that he's doing using the stomach, which is example of involuntary muscle, is digesting of food. Our stomach is an example of involuntary muscles. Why? You don't command your stomach. It's automatically processing your food. It's automatically breaking the food inside. But biting, okay, the muscles in your face, in your mouth, you could decide to stop. Like this frame, the guy is eating. And then in frame number 2, he stopped eating. Okay, because maybe he feels something creepy in the place and then he gets scared. And then in frame number 3, he runs. Okay, so example of voluntary muscle here is the muscle in his leg. So the example of the activity there is walking. Now here, since the guy feels creepy, he gets scared and then his heart is beating so fast. So heart is an example of involuntary muscle. You don't command your heart. The heart automatically works. Okay? So that is an example of involuntary. While the example of voluntary muscle in frame number 2 is the muscle in the hand which is holding the flashlight. he could decide to throw the flashlight, switch on and switch off the flashlight. So the muscle in his arm and hand and wrist is an example of voluntary because he could decide to hold it or not. Example of involuntary muscle here in frame number 3 is heart again, and then the lungs, okay? Because heart and lungs, you don't command it to breathe, you don't command the heart to pump, okay? So it's automatically working. So voluntary muscle here in this frame, in this picture, is the muscle again in the legs and then in the hands because he's running. He could decide to run, to walk, to crawl, to jump. Okay, that is voluntary and involuntary muscles. Now, let's discuss the types of muscles. Okay, your body has a skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle tissue. What is the difference, by the way, of tissue to muscle? Muscle is composed of different tissues. Okay, don't forget. So let's discuss the type of muscle tissue. Skeletal muscle provides the force that moves your bones because skeletal muscle is the one covering the bones. Skeletal muscles appears banded or straighted. Straighted meaning it is arranged in parallel. Look at this one, arrangement. So striated muscle is arranged in parallel. That's why the root word of striated is the word stripe. It looks like stripe, right? Okay. So back to this page. Again, skeletal muscle covers the bone. It helps you to move and to do force. Okay. And then it is striated. The arrangement of tissue is striped or in parallel. Skeletal muscle allows your body to react quickly. Okay. It is also tires quickly. So our skeletal muscle, okay, is quickly to be tired. Example, when you're running, okay, you feel that your leg muscle is tired, okay, because that is the characteristic of skeletal muscle. The next muscle is cardiac muscle. If this muscle is quickly to be tired, cardiac muscles is never to be tired because if our cardiac muscles stop to work, our heart, okay, will not work anymore. Because the example of cardiac muscle is our heart. You could only see cardiac muscle in our heart. Okay? So I called cardiac muscle as a super muscle. Why? Because it works 24/7. When I'm saying 24/7, 24 hours and 7 days non-stop. Cardiac muscle, like skeletal muscles, cardiac muscle cells are striated also. The arrangement of tissue is also same with the skeletal. But the difference, this muscle is quickly to be tired. This muscle is unstoppable. Okay, it never stops. Okay, unlike skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle does not tire. As I mentioned, it can contract repeatedly. You can call those repeated contractions as heartbeat. Okay, the next kind of muscle is the smooth muscle. Smooth muscles are not striated. The arrangement is not same as this two. If this two, the arrangement is parallel like this, the smooth muscle is different. This type of muscles reacts and tires slowly. Okay? The example of smooth muscles is the muscles in our stomach. Okay? Actually, smooth muscles are the lining or the outer covering of our internal organs. Here are some types of muscle tissue. Our blood vessels is an example of smooth muscle. Our leg is an example of skeletal muscle because it covers the bone in our thigh and legs. And stomach, since the stomach is an internal organ, that is a smooth muscle. Heart, you can only found cardiac muscle in heart. And face, that is a skeletal muscle. Why? Because it covers the skull. Okay, let's go to this page. Let's compare and contrast the different kinds of muscle. A skeletal muscle reacts and tires easily. It is attached to the bones. It protects the bone. It is voluntary. The arrangement of tissue is striated. While the smooth muscle, it reacts and tires. When we say reacts, meaning, example, if you eat when you feel full, it reacts, meaning you can see that your abdomen, your abs is getting bigger because the stomach is reacting. When you're filling your stomach, it become big, so it reacts. Okay? At the same time, it tires slowly. Next, it is involuntary. You cannot command your stomach, it digests automatically. The arrangement of smooth muscle is not striated. Cardiac muscle does not tire. The example of cardiac muscle, remember, is your heart. It is involuntary. No one commands the cardiac muscle. It works automatically. The arrangement of tissue is striated. You can find it in your heart. And the common things about the three muscles are they are both muscle tissue and they're all contracting. Okay, if you want to know what is the feeling of being of muscle being contracted, try to inflate a balloon. Try to blow the balloon and try to squeeze it. Okay, when you want to squeeze that balloon, that is the feeling of contracted or contract. Okay, now let's proceed to this part. What is the difference between voluntary and involuntary muscles? Voluntary muscles are under your control. Okay, while involuntary muscles are not under your conscious control, meaning no one commands it. Letter B. Why is it important that cardiac muscle tissue does not tire? Oh my goodness, if cardiac muscle, if our heart muscle tire, we will be dead. Your heart must beat repeatedly to keep us alive. Okay, that is very important. I will continue the topic in the next video. See ya.